The Great Smoky Mountains are famous for being the most popular national park in the country.
Yeah, so the Smokies were created by FDR in 1934. It was actually sold as a commuter park. It was actually built with roads and sold as the kind of thing you could do on a Sunday afternoon and pack your family and kids and take your Model T forward and drive through the park. So, back then it was a cool concept to get people close to nature, and it was fine when you only had 100 cars a day, but now you have 10 million visitors. Way too much.
Two catalysts, I feel. One being the establishment of the Great Smoky Mountain National Park in 1934. Prior to that, this was logging and farming in this area was main reasons for livelihood. And although the landscape had been severely damaged by the logging, and the national park really saved that by coming in when they did, there was no encroachment by anyone from the outside or from the business world, so to speak. So that was the first one. And the second one, and I think in terms of just overall addition to it, was when the establishment of Dollywood, when Dollywood took over Park and Pigeon Forge. The park had been around for a number of years, since 1961. But when Dolly bought it and it became Dollywood, the number of tourists began multiplying almost immediately.
But increasing development issues have created worry amongst concerned citizens.
Pigeon Forge has always been the gateway. People realized they could make money selling tokens to park visitors, but now it's grown into this massive kind of cartoon where it's obviously out of control.
If they're building on too steep of a slope, it's not necessarily safe. It really does lessen the appeal of the look of the mountains, which is the #1 reason why people visit here. They may not actually go into the mountains and experience them, but they can see them.
You have to convince people that they're not here to just shop. They actually are here because of the park. Tourists come here not to see sprawl, but they come here to see the bears, they come here to see the park, they come here for peace and quiet. If you destroy that, you're going to lose everything.
Pollution has also become a concern among the locals, as well as the scientists who study pollution in these areas.
Pollution's really taken its toll up there. The pollution, as I mentioned earlier, did not come from here. It's a national problem, and because of the geography of the area, we're paying the price for it.
The bitter irony with urban sprawl is that people actually move to be next to the park because they like it, and at the same time they're bringing the downfall of the park. That's the real irony. It's sort of like loving something to death. But I would say, I guess, that urban sprawl is the #1 problem with the environment right now. Air pollution, water pollution, habitat loss. You get rid of sprawl, you get rid of most of our problems.
Our severe solid waste facility is world-renowned. The focus with that is to really reduce our waste stream significantly. It is incredible when people come from all over the world to see that. It's just absolutely incredible, some of the things that are going on in the community.
Nobody says no development, but what you really want is planned development, smart development. So if you go out there now, you'll see a lot of road construction, you'll see a lot of buildings. The most obvious point to me is the Little River, which comes out of the Smokies and is the last clean river we have up there. As soon as it hits Townsend, it just gets slammed with E. coli from the surrounding community.
You can't go inside the park boundaries, that's all taken care of, but it helps to have a little perimeter around the park as well, and they've managed to buy and have donated to them some very valuable pieces of property, some adjoining the park.
A lot of people want to put buffers around parks, which are kind of transitory zones where people could go and enjoy the parks. You have too many people in there, and most professionals think we need to have fewer.
Look at the automobile industry. So many plants have closed down. But if you really think about it, tourism is an industry where you can't just export those jobs somewhere else. It's an industry that you can keep in an area if it's suited, and it continues to thrive for generations.
I would say the only parks that really are not being really hit with urban issues are the ones in Montana, in Idaho, where there just aren't that many people. Those are the ones that are still relatively pristine. No biologist really thinks the Smokies is going to be healthy for another couple decades, so it's going to be in big trouble. The Smokies, as we know, is clearly going to disappear.
Although opinions may differ on the urban sprawl in the area, one idea that seems to overrule a different perspective is the need to preserve the park.
The primary overriding feeling of everyone here is that we've got the national park, we're proud of the national park, that's our bread and butter, and we're going to do everything we can to keep it as nice as we can.
You really just have to do a better job of convincing people that their lifestyle is the problem. People don't like that, and that usually means working with young people who don't have a lot of money invested in the infrastructure, and that's where you start, and it's obviously not going to happen overnight.
This is Jake Rainey and Phil Coode for TNJN.